Hello YouTube and welcome back to Psychology Every Day. Today is Sunday, which means Sports Psychology Sunday, and today I have a real banger for you. This is an insight and something that I've learned over the years, and it's something that I very rarely see anyone talking about, and that is crazy because this is something that is actually super worth knowing if you are either someone that competes in, let's say, strongman, but even more so if you compete in arm wrestling, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or CrossFit, or weightlifting. But also if you are an athlete, if you play American football or anything like that. And I want to talk to you about three things basically, which they're all connected, and I'm going to show you examples of this, and then of course we're going to try and connect it to real life, as we try and do with sports psychology. And these things are weak links, strongest driver, bottleneck theory, and how this connects to cars and their anti-brake system, automatic brake system. Not anti-brake, automatic brake. So let's look at some examples. I'm going to cut in here and we're going to show, I'm going to talk about these ball throws that I'm doing. And here we have 35 kilos, and with this 35 kilo ball I am doing the technique and the throw as it's supposed to be done. So what you see is me sort of doing like a half squat, and holding the ball sort of in my face height and not really connected to my chest, doing a half squat, and then sort of trying to explode off the ground using everything from my feet up. So what I'm trying to do is push off so that my heels lift off the ground, because there is so much height to get over that I have to try and use every single joint and every single possible extension to get as much height as possible. So I try to put in maximum power in my feet, in my ankles, in my knees, in my hips, through my core, through my shoulders, and of course through my arms, and even out into the fingertips. Because obviously I need to accelerate the ball and I can't reach to just lay it over. Then this would be very unproblematic compared to what it is now. And then on the 50 kilo ball you will see that the technique is not the same. I am unable for some reason to do the lift in the same way that I did with the 35 kilo ball. And this is because there is somewhere a weak link that can handle whatever the load is with the 35 kilo ball, and it cannot handle the load in that manner with the 50 kilo ball. And just like in sort of industrial businesses or enterprises or something like that, the bottleneck or the weak link will decide the final output. And the body works like a car automatic brake system in that if there is a weak link or a bottleneck, your body will automatically turn down the power and the strength in everything else to sort of match the weak link. We know this because when the weak link is the grip, it is very rare for us to actually, if you're doing deadlifts and it's a double overhand grip, then it's very rare for us to actually pull through and let the bar rip through our grip. And everyone that is an arm wrestler knows that losing your cup is a choice. This is sort of a meme, but it is true. And because what you can do is just keep your cup and let your arm get pulled into the pad. So whatever it is that we prioritize in the double overhand grip thing with the deadlift, we usually prioritize holding on and not letting the bar rip our hands open, and then we simply fail the deadlift. The bar doesn't move, which is strange, right? Because we know that our back and our legs are strong enough to lift the weight, so the natural thing should be to just stand up and let the bar rip through your fingers, but that is not what happens. That is because the body turns off the power in the stronger muscles, just like when you brake and your car sort of loses traction, it will reduce the braking until the car gains traction again. This means that in everything that is not sort of specialized and a certain sort of locked movement, such as powerlifting is a good example, where you sort of get to choose your battle and use your greatest strength instead. This is more easily explained in arm wrestling, where if you are the faster person, you get to choose where the battle is and what. Then you get to use your strongest strength instead of having to defend with your weakest link. You can think of it like you have a sword and you have an armor. Now your sword is as good as your sword is sharp and heavy and whatever. Your armor, however, is only as good as its worst sort of place. Your armor, if you have sort of gloves and shoulder pads and arms and leg guards and boots and whatever, but no chest plate, then your armor is useless, or at least as good as its weakest link, which is your chest where there is no armor. So effectively, it's useless. So when talking about this in the sort of ball toss thing, it doesn't matter if I have enough power in my shoulders and triceps to launch enough power, if my core or my legs or my feet, basically, if they cave from all of the power that is coming from above. And if the legs all the way up to the shoulders are stronger, then the arms will buckle between the power from the ball and the legs. So this is super important, because in wrestling and arm wrestling, as soon as, especially arm wrestling, as soon as you are on the defensive, you will be judged, or your output will be based on your weakest link. However, if you are faster, then your output will be based on your strongest strength, your sword. That is why wrestlers are so incredibly strong, because they are always, they have no weak links if you do a lot of wrestling, because it's always a sort of balance between offensive and defensive strength. And the connection, of course, to real life is that if you are truly really good at something, you can use that to your advantage. Let's say you are extremely good at math, then you can use this offensively and get a super duper great job and make a lot of money off it, become famous, whatever. But if you have a really weak link, that will also control your life. Let's say you have super mega much social anxiety. Both of them will sort of rule your life in different ways. So as in training, as in life, you need to eliminate your weakest link while continuing to improve your biggest strength. Fix your armor and fix your sword. Fix your greatest flaws and build on your greatest qualities. That is all for today. Have a fantastic Sunday, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow.